RC again, Ryan, for those of you who actually know me. I'm trying a 1080 mode on this session, Hero Session 5. It has stabilized video on 1080 at 60 frames a second. It doesn't have stabilized video at 4K, but I think 1080 will do for a little bit of stuff in the house here. So we've got a few new things we're going to be looking at over the next couple videos. One that I'm kind of excited about is a new prop here. I ordered this from Eprops, directly from France, and they have great customer service. I really appreciate that, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this does here. Let me turn the fan off just in case that's making some noise. There we go. But yeah, I've never really seen a lot of Nitros with a 3-bladed prop setup, so we'll see how it does. See if I can get it in here. There we go. So this is the 125 centimeter, and I couldn't go any bigger. I'm on the aluminum frame. It sits really low to the ground compared to the titanium frame. So any longer with the 130 probably would be too close for comfort for hitting the ground, because I'm probably this close to the ground already. So we'll see how this does. Supposed to get 10, maybe 12 pounds of more thrust. I don't know if it'll be noticeable, but we needed to use the other prop for testing on the 130 anyway. So we ordered this one to replace it, so see how that goes. For those of you wondering about my chase cam, this is this guy here. Just homemade, old arrow shaft, Coke bottle, some Nerf dart fins, and a piece of aluminum bent with two 90s in it, and a GoPro mount. And we've got this one weighted specifically so when the GoPro sits on there, it will fly pretty much dead straight for a Hero 3. So my dad actually made these. He's got one for his and I've got one for mine. And it seems to be working pretty well. I think I like the idea of the badminton looking one better. It flies a little bit higher than this one. This one sits kind of low, whereas the badminton one stays pretty high up on the thing because it's much lighter. But it seems to work. Just using nylon cord here and some of these little super flimsy S-hooks. I don't know if you guys could see that, but I figured those will rip apart should anything happen. They're not very strong. I could probably rip it apart if I just had two ends and could pull on it, but holds on the camera pretty well. So for an update on what I'm using for editing here, actually my desktop, I messed the motherboard up pulling it in and out of the computer once, and so it died. So I'm down to the laptop that I showed you in the first vlog, I think, and I've had to get some hard drive functionality. There's 2 hard drives in this laptop, plus these 2 here, and I've got some more hanging around. But using the curved Acer, it's the same as the Predator X34, but it's not the Predator one. This is the earlier model. And then I got my headphones back there. Also use this CAD USB mic here, the U37. Seems to do pretty good. Let me know what you think of that. It's not the best, but it's like 38 bucks. Some ham radio action over there. So the next thing I'm really excited to see is I went ahead and did the 2D steering mode on the Spyder here. Doesn't come with any accessories, but it does have wingtip steering. I went ahead and made sure I kept the lines the same length, or approximately the same length. It may have a little more slack in it due to the not using the ring, so it's going straight out to the tips. But super excited to give that a try. I'm going to kite it first before taking it up, make sure it's not pulling one direction or the other. But here we are, we've got the brake line still going through its pulley, and then this one is not on this ring over here anymore. And I just made marks on it so that I could see how much extra slack I gave it, and these were pretty much matched. My knot was a little bit higher, but when they're tied pretty straight, you can see it there. So I'm within a centimeter or so of the original, and it's about the same on the other side. Super excited to see that on the Spyder here. So now on to the video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Some flight footage from last Sunday, and just took up an early morning flight with the fog still out on the ground where I'm at in Arlington, Tennessee. And hopefully the stabilized video, hopefully that does pretty good for you. Morning, everybody. Here's our field, dead calm. Expect maybe an eastern wind coming from that way, if anything, by the time I land in an hour or so. So here we go, everyone. I'm notorious for forgetting about the button before I start my flight. So I actually took off and kind of catty-cornered and went over some power lines right there and started aiming back this way, which is north. Came out this morning. It was going to be one of the last days I'd get in a little while for wind and such, so I figured I'd get out as early as I could, make a little bit of a flight. And my battery didn't last through this whole flight, but I was up about an hour and 15 minutes. So I was practicing kind of hopping fields here, swooping in, seeing kind of what my descent rate would be. Should I let the motor go? How far can I glide? Kind of get that sight picture in. That's one thing you need to definitely have is a good feel for your motor, good feel for the wing, your descent rate, sink rate, so you can make some good decisions when the necessary time comes for it. This motor is so much easier than that 130 to do some foot drag type stuff. It's not so peaky right in the mid-range. That 130 feels like a 125 dirt bike where, you know, it has no power and then all of a sudden jumps. But this Nitro with the clutch is smooth on the low end. So I found some cows here. Everyone likes to play with cows, right? Entertaining the folks on the road. Practicing some steep turns. I almost always grab this wingtip steering here. So you saw in the intro that I got the 2D steering and the prop, but that's not in this flight. So I actually did this flight about a week before I started filming that for this video. So we haven't seen yet what those are going to do. And I apologize for chasing the cows there. It was wrong of me. But yeah, almost every turn I make here, you almost always see me grab a finger through that wingtip steering there. And I'll either just use wingtip steering or I'll grab both lines for a nice steep hard turn. That's why I decided to go ahead and do the 2D steering. I kept saying maybe, maybe not, should I not? But I think we're just going to go ahead and go with it. That'll keep me from searching for both lines all the time. This here's a gas right away, so like a gas main's underneath there somewhere. But it looked like a pretty place to skim along. So something I'm thinking about here is I see that cell tower up there and I'm wondering, I don't know if there's any guy wires or anything like that, so early morning flights or low light flights, definitely want to be very careful in fields you haven't been in. There could be a line that's hidden right there, something that could clothesline you and drop you right to the ground. So I'm trying to make sure that I can see easily where the power lines would be here. Look at that sun, isn't that amazing? All this fog's starting to heat up and slowly rise up out of the ground and trees. It's really beautiful out this way. We live on the outskirts of Memphis. We didn't want to live downtown in the city area or even in the more crowded area. So this is literally just right nearby the house. Look at that pond down there. Isn't that amazing? What a view. Alright, there's a McDonald's actually in front of me. Not as cool as Tucker's McDonald's strip, but there's one over there. Right there, center frame. Oh, staying on the right side. There you go, now in the center. That's McDonald's. It's right on the edge of these fields. I'm just practicing steep turns, kind of getting used to it. I'm still fairly new at all this. Trying to get my body kind of habituated to what it feels like, what this thing will do.
Found these spawns here. This sheen on this pond really kind of creeped me out and kind of aggravated me a bit. I'm in the Coast Guard. All the guys I work with, they respond to pollution spills and things like this. But this is inland, so this is EPA issue. It looks like somebody boomed it off, but they did a really awful job at it, and it's escaped the boom. There's all kinds of wildlife here, and it's just kind of irks me that that's been allowed to just sit there. It wouldn't take much to go skim that off and get some absorbent matte materials on there. A little bit of low-down corn action here. Again, this is right in front of McDonald's in downtown Arlington. When I say downtown, there's not really a town. It's like a Kroger, a McDonald's, a couple little stores here and there, and then there's like the old town Arlington, which is 1800, 1700, something like that. Here we've moved on to, I think it's soybeans. Not 100% sure. Could be cotton, could be soybeans. Something smaller. It's a real shame I didn't catch all this footage to the end of my flight. My GoPro Session has terrible battery life. At the end of my flight, I flew over I-40 to the south, and I found some fields with some different elevations, and a huge buck kind of spooked out of an area. Flew some circles around some trees next to these big lakes. It's really pretty, but again, it didn't last on there. If any of you guys want to donate to me maybe a new Hero 6, I'll take one. So here's where I'm heading over that way to go south, southeast-ish to I-40. I'm just climbing along. I got my speed bar out. I burned through a crap ton of gas on this flight, and more than I realized. This is the first time I've had full power. I'm running about 7,400 RPM or so, and doing great, but really chewing through fuel with that speed bar out. So I was trying to check my height and everything here, and then that rising fog from the ground caught me. And I'm not supposed to be in a cloud because I'm not in Class G airspace here. I shouldn't even be close to it. So I tried to stay 500 feet below. And I noticed that and tried to drop back out of here as quick as I could. I didn't even see it sneak up on me. It just kind of appeared out of nowhere. But you don't want any IFR flights coming through you. It hurts to take an airplane through the back. So I'm just sinking here, but yeah, like I said, using the speed bar the whole time on this, keeping that motor going, really chewed through the fuel. Like an hour and 15-minute flight, I probably used a gallon and a half, and I had maybe a quarter gallon left. And when I got to the end of my flight, it kind of started sputtering out on me if I didn't have the gas going a little bit. Not bad, just like if you let go and idle, it would take a second to kick in, and I was wondering what's going on. It's actually running out of gas. Anyway, appreciate you guys coming along and hope you enjoyed the video and some of the insights, and I'll catch you again on the next one. Take care.